before we talk about the Eagles, we got to talk about what is breaking right now on TV. And in honor of wearing the Folesian Society shirt, we got to talk about Nick Foles. Nick Foles is headed to the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears have just traded for Nick Foles from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they're giving up a 4th round compensatory pick to get him. That's cheap, man. That's nothing. I think they're going to have to rework something with his contract and things like that. But for a 4th round compensatory pick to get Nick Foles, a Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP, it's a steal for Chicago. And I think Nick Foles will fit in perfectly with Nagy. I think they'll do very good together. And I think it makes Chicago a true contender. I think Chicago's going to be a contender with Nick Foles. I like Nick Foles. I've always said I like Nick Foles. I just like Carson Wentz a little better. But Nick is going to Chicago, and his whole stay at Jacksonville was a joke. It was a joke. In Jacksonville, I think they're going to regret letting giving up on Nick Foles so quick and letting him out the door so quick. I think it's ridiculous. I know they like Minshew, but we got to see if Minshew can do it more than 1 year. Nick Foles headed to Chicago, and Chicago cannot believe in Trubisky. It's the end of Mitch the Trubisky, I guess. I mean, you can't bring in Nick Foles for his money that he's getting as a backup. He is the starter. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Trubisky. But, man, they really gave up on him quick. I mean, that's what you get when you trade one spot to get the quarterback. When San Francisco, they bluffed them. San Francisco bluffed Chicago. Chicago got ripped off. They could have Mahomes. They could have Watson. And now they had Trubisky. And it didn't work out for them, obviously. But bringing in Nick Foles will make Chicago a contender. No question. As long as he can stay healthy, Nick Foles and Chicago Bears are a force to be reckoned with. Now, with that said, let's get to this video. Yo, everybody doing? King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the first official day of free agency. And, the Eagles have been very quiet, very, very quiet. And we're going to get into the team in a second. But first off, we do have some breaking news regarding Malcolm Jenkins, okay? Malcolm Jenkins, who is going to become a free agent today, is very close to finalizing a deal with the New Orleans Saints to go back there to play with Sean Payton, Drew Brees, and that whole team. Malcolm Jenkins is going back to New Orleans. I don't know what the deal is going to be. I don't know how much money he's going to be, but it's pretty much a done deal, okay? And it's frustrating to me because the New Orleans Saints, a team who is contending for a Super Bowl, values him enough to bring him back. He wasn't even available publicly for 24 hours, and he's already gone. And Malcolm Jenkins is loyal because Malcolm Jenkins went right back to New Orleans. He could have shopped himself around. He went right back to a team he's familiar with. And, he had that loyalty with the Eagles. I wish they would have given him just a little more money for a year or something like that. I think he deserved it. But I understand what the Eagles are doing. They're trying to get younger. And, it's tough. Sean Payton said one of the big mistakes of his tenure was letting Malcolm Jenkins out the building. That's what he said. And as soon as he was given a chance to make up for that mistake, he did it. So I wish Malcolm Jenkins the best of luck. He's going to play with a good team. He's going to play with Lattimore. They're going to be good. The Saints are going to be good. And I understand maybe their thought process is a little different than the Eagles because they have Drew Brees, who has only 2 years left. He just signed a 2-year deal, but how many years can Brees have left? The Saints kind of probably feel they have to strike now. So I get it, but it also is an indicator that maybe the Eagles aren't in win now mode. Maybe they're not saying, hey, we got to win next year. We got to do it now. They got a little bigger window, and they're preparing and they're planning according to that window. But I want to wish Malcolm Jenkins nothing but luck, except for if he plays the Eagles. Great guy. I loved having him here in Philly with us. He was awesome. And I wish him nothing but the best. And it could be worse. He could have went to Dallas. That would have been the worst thing ever, but that didn't happen. But Malcolm Jenkins is a New Orleans Saints, and I don't know. I feel sad about it, to be honest with you. I do. I like Malcolm Jenkins. Oh, it is what it is. I wish him the luck. What are we going to do? That's the big question. Now, the reason I say it is simple. Because the Eagles have been so quiet so far in free agency. You're trying to figure out, what are they doing? Now, there are a group of people that say, well, hey, the Eagles are not building to win a Super Bowl next year. That's not their goal. They're trying to build this thing over the long term. Fine. Okay. I understand. I get that point. But my only question is this. You only made one move. You brought in Hargrave. Good move. I love the move. However, if you're building for the next 3-4 years down the road, why did you sign Nate Sudfeld to 1 year? Why did you sign Jalen Mills to 1 year? Why are you signing McLeod to 2 years? That doesn't look like you're trying to build for 3-4 years down the road. That, you know what I mean? That looks like you're just having placeholders for the time being. Something is up. Okay? Something is going on. I don't know what it is. Okay? I mean, my guess is that the Eagles thought Byron Jones was going to be theirs. They spent all their money and all their time in it. It didn't work out. They didn't have a backup plan. That's what it seems like to me. But I don't know. Now, there are reports today, and I think this was Adam Schefter, who said the Eagles were actively talking to the Houston Texans about DeAndre Hopkins. They knew that DeAndre Hopkins was available. They knew it. And they decided at some point, it's too much. It's too much because you're going to have to pay him a big contract, and they don't want to do it. Well, of course you're going to have to pay him. He's DeAndre Hopkins. He's a top 3 wide receiver in the league. I mean, what are we doing here? Are we going to get weapons for our quarterback, or are we going to pass him by because we don't want to spend a lot of money? And let me tell you this. If you don't want to spend a lot of money on a top 3 wide receiver, why are you giving Alshon Jeffrey the kind of money you gave him guaranteed last year when he's not even a top 10 receiver? I don't get it. And let me say this again. Let me add this. I think the Alshon Jeffrey signing last year, where they guaranteed him all that money, probably cost us getting DeAndre Hopkins. Because they were like, we put all this money on Alshon Jeffrey, we're going to have to eat it, we're going to have to cut it. We're not putting that much money towards another receiver. So I think the Alshon Jeffrey situation has effectively shut us down from getting DeAndre Hopkins. That's what I think. That's my theory. Because otherwise, in terms of compensation, you should have been able to figure out something to get DeAndre Hopkins there. And then pay him. I would pay him. The guy's 27 years old. It is what it is. Now, what's the plan? What are we going to do today? What are we going to do to better this team? Because when you look at this team, we made one impactful signing. Hargrave is a great signing. It's a great signing, but it has to be with other things that fit. So we need a corner. We need linebackers. We need a safety now. That's just the defensive side of the ball. And I think in free agency, that's where we should be focused at this point. I would have loved to have DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, you just got to wonder how much the Alshon Jeffrey contract really cost the Eagles from going and giving DeAndre Hopkins a huge deal. Because that's pretty much why the Eagles were like, we want out. Because he wanted a big contract. So I hope they have a plan. I know it sounds like I'm being negative. I'm not. I'm just in wait and see mode. I'm just trying to figure out what this team is doing. I think the Eagles are looking to build for the next few years, but they're not finding the pieces that they want. Because look, you can go into the draft. You're not going to solve all your problems. You're going to have to sign some guys in free agency. Okay, you're just going to. And who they're looking at, I don't know. But I expect Howie to strike at some point. I expect him to strike. I expect him to make a big move that will all go, I get it now. I get it. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But right now, the Eagles are quiet. And I think the Giants have been pretty active. Dallas signed some of their own guys. I think Dallas defensively got weaker. So, we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. The Eagles right now, in my opinion, they got better on the defensive line. They've gotten worse in the secondary with no Malcolm Jenkins. And the linebackers are as bad as they were. Receivers are as bad as they were. And I should also mention this. Today at 4 o'clock Eastern time, I believe, the Eagles can designate Alshon Jeffrey as a post-June 1st cut. So the Eagles may cut him and may be waiting to do that. Maybe that's the big move they want to do first before anything else. I don't know. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see if they cut Alshon right away, if they keep him a while, see if they can get anything for him. Who knows? But hey, it's the first technical day of free agency. I'm excited and hopeful that we're going to get this thing going today. With that said, take care. I will talk to you later, and don't be a dingbat.